The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Tally Olson. We are back against all odds. Technical difficulties, health difficulties. We are the New York Mets in the zone, and I've got the three Mavens with me, Bernie and Marty Rose. Bert, how are you?
Well,
Bert?
okay.
Bert? Okay. And Robert Cole is here. Let's hear your voice.
Yes, I am.
Good. Blessed to have you all, and we're 4-4. It was a good win today, and let's talk about what's hit us injury-wise. Start with you, Robert.
Well, I mean, like last couple of years, they just can't seem to stay healthy. Now Narvaez, their catcher that they brought in, is down, and they're going to be forced to bring in their young catcher that they didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not pretty right now.
How long is Baez going to be out?
6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, wow. And my next question about injuries is Verlander. What's with him?
What I saw today was they hope to have him back by the end of the month.
Okay. That's still 3 weeks away. What a jinx. This is terrible. How about good stuff happening? Mert, start with you.
Okay, well, to tell you the truth, I'm not seeing too much good stuff right now.
What a difference from last year, huh? And it's only April 7th. Go ahead.
Quite a difference, yeah. I mean, look, you know that certain guys are going to do okay. I'm not worrying about Nimmo. I'm not worrying about Marte. I'm not worrying about Alonso. I'm not worrying about McNeil. I'm not worrying about Lindor. Okay? Those guys are going to do what they always do. So that's good. If you need something good, those guys are going to do okay. But I mean, you look at the starting rotation, and there's big trouble there. Big trouble.
Yeah.
Thank God McGill looked really good today. That was nice, and that was much needed. Okay. Scherzer didn't look so good. Okay, we haven't even seen Verlander yet. Peterson, so-so. Diaz is out for the year.
That really is the major thing of it all.
I hate to say this, but Kodai Senga could be the ace of the staff.
He's not backing into it. He's doing a good job.
So far, I mean...
but if that happens, you can forget about it. He can't be.
He's going tomorrow, I believe. So, he can't be. You're right, but he might be.
It'll be all well and good, and it'll be great if he keeps pitching well. But, no, if he ends up being the ace, that means Verlander and Scherzer... and if not, McGill are all taking a dive, and you can't have that.
Yeah. Well, we said
how are they going to handle the loss of Diaz? Is there anything on the horizon? Anybody to step up?
I don't think so. I mean, this guy Raley might be the guy between Robertson and Raley and Ottavino. He'll probably just switch off between those three guys. I don't think he's going to go with one particular closer. I don't think he can.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, Raley's got a short, he's got a short list of work. He hasn't been in the majors all that long. If it's the same Raley I'm thinking of, and he's shown, he's shown that he can pitch, but to throw him in a closer's role, that might be a little too soon. But if you have to, you have to. But I'd go with Robertson.
Yeah.
Well, Raley pitched the whole season last year with the Rays, and he closed. He set up. He can be used in any number of different ways. So he's at least versatile.
All right.
Okay. We got some good news on Beatty, who was hurt. Am I pronouncing that right, or is it Batty?
Yes, Beatty.
Beatty. He was hurt, and his thumb had no structural damage, which is a godsend in light of the way that Escobar has started. And they seem to have a real short leash. I don't know if it's that comes from Epler or from Steve himself, but they're talking about giving up on him. The way they're not saying it specifically, but just considering Beatty coming up before he got hurt, 8 days into the season is, I don't know if it's overreaction or what, but when you have a payroll like they have, puts a lot of pressure on. I think that may have a bearing on how they handle the day-to-day stuff that comes up all year. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, but it's really early, I mean.
Oh yeah.
It's 1 week,
It is, and it's not like they're falling off the table. 4-4. I think it might be 5-4 now.
4-4.
4-4.
Oh, 4-4. Okay.
The bad part is when the good team that they played, they got swept.
Okay.
Against the Brewers. So the 4-1 against Miami, that's meaningless, really.
Miami's not as bad as you think, but I mean they're only 3-5. They're 1 game out of the Mets, and they took the series from the Twins. So I wouldn't say they're garbage, but you're right. I mean, the one better team they played, they didn't look good at all.
No. 19-0 in the first 2 games.
Right.
Yeah, that's not. No. And then they blew the next game, and that was when you missed Diaz. That's so far the only game that you've really missed Diaz.
That's correct. 1 game.
But then again, it's a long season.
Yeah, 1 game out of 5. I mean,
right.
out of 8. So.
Yeah. How's Marte playing?
Very well.
Okay.
I like Marte a lot. And as we said before, one of the reasons that they choked it out last year was Marte being hurt for the last month.
Right.
I like him a lot. I really do.
Yeah. He has a good demeanor, too. He reminds me of Dave Winfield, just his look. I don't.
Yeah, he goes about his business. You know, he's not flashy. You know, he doesn't need, you know, people making a big fuss about him. He just goes about his business and does his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a good career. He's a 289 career hitter. So
right,
with just about an 800 OPS. So you know, he can hit.
See, one of the things with the Mets right now too is their 4 young guys all did well in spring training, and a lot of people were clamoring that they make the team, you know, coming out of Florida, and you know, now that they started off so, there's an even bigger clamor. You know, all the so-called experts saying, you know, Beatty should come up, Viento should come up. We got a couple of clowns saying Mauricio should come up. You know, Mauricio until this year has never been above Double-A. You know, so you got to really temper that a little bit.
Has he? I think he's been called up.
Mauricio, no.
No? Wow, I don't know where I read it.
Alvarez has been called up.
I think Mauricio too, but I'm not in front of the computer. I can't tell you. He showed awesome power in spring training. That can't be denied. Also can't be denied that he doesn't have a position.
Unless they dump Vogel back, you know. Make him DH.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know, teams, you know, don't want to take a 20-year-old and make him a DH, especially a guy with the talent that he has.
Yeah, well, I see him in left field next year.
Yeah, so do I.
Canna only has a 2-year deal, right? I think so.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Canna's a good ball player.
He is.
Yeah,
but he's
good,
not
solid
great.
guy.
Mauricio has a chance to be great from what we're seeing. Yeah.
Right. What is your outlook for the rest of the season, guys? Cruel to be kind on this one. What do you think, Marty?
Well, it all depends on the health of the rotation. Frankly, I mean, with Scherzer and Verlander, I mean, there's so much money invested in them, and you know they're supposed to be 1 and 2 in the rotation, and I'm just not seeing that they're going to play up to preseason expectations. I don't see it.
Well, I could tell you that they won't, only because of the first loss, which was Diaz, and I don't think they're going to come back from that. Just a hunch. This could be one of those years where you look that we've had so many of them in the past 7-8 years, where snake bit by injuries. It's really sad, but truth be that all the money in the world won't buy good health in terms of, but
we all know that.
Yeah. That I just I'm equating it with just the way it's been, and there's something about it. Can't all be all these injuries for 7 years. Can't be coincidence. Is it the way they train, or I mean, especially pitching. I don't know what to make of it. We're all stymied.
I don't know.
Every team gets injuries. I mean, you can't blame any one thing about it. You just can't. It's just stuff that happens.
Right.
It happens in all athletics.
Right.
What are you going to do?
And league-wide, if you keep watching the transaction and stuff, guys are going on IL left and right on every team in the league.
True. And I think overall, pitchers trying to throw 100 miles an hour, 100 miles a minute or whatever, that, not just the speed, but not staying within yourself.
And they're also saying now about the pitch clock that these guys got to throw faster, between pitches, less rest time. Somebody mentioned that as a possibility for more injuries, which I didn't think about before, but
that's a very good point. That's a very good point. Just taking a breath serves the pitcher sometimes, but it certainly has sped up the game, and it makes for a much more enjoyable 2.5 hours than 3 hours.
Yeah.
Just being a fan.
Yeah.
Can't complain about that. I don't know how to make this an exciting show. I don't know how to show optimism at this stage.
Well, they came home. They scored 9 runs. They haven't been home, right? It's the home opener.
Right.
So they've got 80 more games at home.
And they dedicated the Bob Murphy, whatever it is. I guess it's the official name, radio booth, the official radio booth name. And brings back a lot of memories. My main memory of Bob Murphy was Alvin Jackson.
Born on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
One of 12 children.
There you
go.
Little Alvin Jackson.
Of a retired railroad worker.
Right.
So, and those, will you guys look back on that announcing team as great, or, Lindsey Nelson, Ralph Kiner, Bob Murphy? We were coming off an announcing situation with the Yankees where Mel Allen, Red Barber, and Phil Rizzuto. I think it was hard to adjust to those guys, and Bob Murphy really came into his own. He was excellent, but that took a while. But good memories.
Lindsey Nelson was the pro in the beginning, but you know what? They stayed with them, and the Met fans, grew up with them. They're remembered, I would think, quite fondly.
Yeah, Murphy got better, and
absolutely.
Kiner, with his post-game show was very entertaining. So.
Yes. Yeah.
And you forget he's a Hall of Famer. Everybody, just thinks sometimes about marble mouth and all that kind of stuff. But did I say that? I didn't mean that.
And you have to admit that Lindsey Nelson was quite a dresser.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I thought that it was kind of fun watching those guys.
It was.
Yeah.
It was,
like,
but
just like Shea Stadium wasn't the greatest stadium that there was, but it was ours, you know, and those
Yes.
three guys were ours.
Yes. From day one, Mert.
Yeah. Day one. Day one
literally.
Yeah.
And Marty Horowitz, I think, went to that game as well.
Yes, he did. Oh, there was 17 of us. We took up a whole row in the upper deck, 17 seats. Well, all
Wow.
the way across. I mean, do I remember everyone that was there? No, but it was most of the guys, all in our same grade, from that hung out in the park. You know.
Yes.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah, including the truant officer.
Well, my mother wasn't a truant officer, literally, but she played the role on television. We've told the story before. It's worth retelling because it's your dad.
Yeah. Well,
everybody plays hooky, and naturally they got permission from their parents, and it was all cool. I never got permission, and my mother never knew I played hooky until she went shopping that day and ran into your dad, Jack, and they fall into step, and your dad, I could just hear his voice. Kids have a nice day for a game, huh? And I can picture my mother's expression and how she wasn't going to say anything right then to Jack and, blow her cool. But when I got home, how was the day? How was your day? Oh, it was great. My mother says, I ran into Marty's dad. I didn't think anything of it. Whack! A right cross. Sent the man reeling. He wasn't even a man yet, but he was reeling. And she was pissed. Not for any other reason than that I lied. That was it. And
yeah, but that was a good lie. You know, you didn't know your cover was blown. You know, you guys, you were in high school.
Yeah, seniors.
Such as it was.
I was in junior high school. There should have never been a question that you couldn't go to that game. Unfortunately, they didn't see it that way. It's just like, when the Beatles played Shea Stadium that first time in 1964, I was 13. I want a ticket. I didn't have any money. It was $3. I need $3 for a ticket. They just didn't understand the importance. Yeah.
Right.
And it was the same thing with the baseball game. But you lied. Yeah, I mean, they never liked that kind of shit.
No. And
but it's a good lie. I would have done it.
Ralph, did you really lie though? She asked, "How was your day?" You said it was a great day. I mean, it was a great day. You're at the game.
I don't know. I can't remember the exact circumstances because my head was reeling.
Probably said, "How was school today?" Right?
Yeah, she might have.
Yeah, I think that's the way you told it once before, but it's just a great story.
It must have been how was school because she set up. Yeah, it's a great story. All right, guys. We'll make it short and sweet. The thing I have to be grateful for with the Mets was that Beatty's injury didn't keep him out. I mean, a thumb. How are you going to bat when you can't use your thumb? didn't keep him out longer. Somebody said he's day-to-day.
Well, he was day-to-day. If they had played tonight, they got postponed tonight because of cold temperatures, but he was scheduled to be in the lineup tonight.
Oh, that is very good news.
And,
so,
you're saying, what can we talk about that was exciting? The young guys. I mean, if the Mets are still slumbering, in another week or so, and they bring up these young guys, it'll inject some excitement. And I think, that's what might be needed.
Naturally.
Well, if the guys, go ahead. What I was going to say, if the guys who don't hit, the guy Alonso's going to hit, and you would think, the other guys, Nimmo and the National League leader and average, they're going to hit. But if they don't, there's not a long history of these guys. So if they don't hit some of these guys, especially Escobar, they're going to have to bring up some of these guys because the Braves look very good.
Yep.
That's an early sample, but they swept the Cardinals, who were supposed to be good, and got off good in their first series. So the Braves look like, they're serious. So the Mets going to have to match them.
Yeah, they just put a couple of guys on the IL today, too, the Braves. So.
Oh, did they? All right.
Yeah. And I think what the Mets were intending to do with Beatty was to do like what they did with David Wright, is, a couple of weeks in the minors, and then you bring him up to get that injection of, youth and vitality. They may have to rush that a little bit because, how bad Escobar is playing.
Yeah. One thing, all three of them played well when they were sent back to the minors. There was no moping around and this and that. And that shows you a lot.
Yeah.
Looking for positives, that's all.
And I'm hoping tomorrow they catch Alvarez. I can't see calling him up and not playing him.
Sure.
Yeah, good point. I would think he's going to play.
He might be a DH, though. I think Nito should play. Who knows?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how Vogel, whatever his name is doing, and if they're platooning these guys or what the situation is there. I don't know.
Because they could have added Michael Perez, and brought him up to, be the backup to Nito. And then you kept Alvarez, getting his at-bats and catching. So I don't understand if you're not going to catch him, why you would bring him up at this point.
Yeah, I would think he's going to be in the lineup tomorrow. I checked the roster while we were talking. They did not bring up Mauricio. But
no, they didn't. No.
Yeah, but I don't think they need to. But I'd play Alvarez, absolutely. Put him in there. The kid's a hitter. Let's see what he can do.
Sure.
To this day, I still think if the Dodgers would have kept Outman on the playoff roster, they might have scored more runs in that series. But that being said, they kept him this time, the Dodgers, and he's 25. He's ready. When the guy's ready, you got to play him. And so far, so good. So maybe it's Alvarez's time. Even if it's an injury that brought him up, if he starts hitting, he's going to play.
Yeah, well, like I said, to bring him up at this point would be silly if you don't play him.
Absolutely.
There were other options if you wanted to keep Nito as the catcher, as a backup. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
Well, like I say, I'm more concerned about defense for me catching. I'm reminded of the Yankees with Sanchez, dynamite hitter, and never did become an adequate defensive catcher. And,
Exactly, and that's all the more reason why, if you're going to bring Alvarez up, catch him. Otherwise, let him stay, in Syracuse and catch and learn his craft.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. But are we sacrificing the season at this point? Or is there no choice but to sacrifice the season? And they're just playing whack-a-mole.
This guy was supposed to be the number one prospect in all of baseball.
Right.
So you would think he's a lock, He should be.
Yeah. Well, and again, not to wear it out, but you don't bring him up at this point unless you're going to play him. So we'll have to see. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, and you look for guys to seize the moment. And if 2 out of 3 of those guys could seize the moment, even if they don't have a successful year, like they did last year or meet our expectations, at least they're slowly getting better. I don't know. DeGrom had a wonderful game for Texas the other day, and that made this whole thing a little harder to digest. Let's put it that way. So
let's see how he does over the whole season, though.
Yeah, and we'll see how he does over the 5-year contract too.
Absolutely. I mean, it's still Texas. It's going to take a lot more than DeGrom to, get them going.
Well, I am so high on Bruce Bochy as a manager that he may be able to do more for them than you think about. I know managers give me the players and I'll do well. Don't give me the players and I won't do well. But he was terrific with the Giants on their little 3 championships in 5 years. So we'll see. Thank you guys. After last night's debacle with the phones, I appreciate that you hung in there, and we got a Met show this week after all. And
absolutely.
Okay. Health is the concern with all 3 of you guys, and me, being the old man of the group. Let's stay healthy this week, and have a great one. And thank you for listening, everybody. Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, Marty Rose, Robert Cole, and Bernie Rose. The Rose Brothers and Cole. Not a bad combo. You guys are terrific. And I'll be thinking about you both all week. You too, Barn, but
I'm hanging in there. Yeah.
You're hanging in there. Just to be alive, we're all hanging in there. And another day above ground is a happy day.
Yes. We'll take that, yep.
All right.
I'll drink to that.
Put some back to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Remember, we have 90's a long way to go, and we got to keep that going. So Thank you again. Thanks for listening. Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, the Mets in the Zone. And I'm Ralph Tyko, the weak link of it all. Be well, guys. Thank you again.
Good week.
Yeah.
Adios.
Bye.
And happy trails.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices, and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.